Now, we are going to look at 3 ancient principles for going no contact from toxic relationships with narcissistically abusive people. Now, these ancient principles are going to touch on not only how to go no contact, but why you are going no contact. And ultimately, these principles are going to help you not only to heal from narcissistic abuse, but grow into the person that you are called and destined to be. If you can follow these principles and understand them to the best of your ability, and that's what we're going to try to do. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, these ancient principles that we're going to be talking about are from the ancient literature of the Old Testament of the Bible. And now too many people think that the Old Testament of the Bible is nothing but a bunch of hocus pocus and mythological creatures and what have you. But it's not true. The reality is that the ancient literature of the Bible is full of story after story of people just like you and me who are being navigated and led through a very toxic world full of narcissists. That's what it's all about. And so today we're going to look at the ancient literature story of Jacob. Jacob is a very popular Old Testament character. The son of Isaac, he is known to be the one who wrestled with the manifestation of God, broke his hip, and then his name was changed to Israel. But what most people don't know about the ancient character of Jacob is that he is also one of the first to have to go no contact from a very toxic and narcissistic, dysfunctional family situation. And this is where we're going to get our principles from. All right, so for those of you who don't know the story, Jacob is the younger brother of 2. His older brother Esau was what you would refer to as the typical golden child of the family. He was the firstborn. He was the man's man, the hunter, the gatherer. Meanwhile, Jacob was living in the shadows of his older brother Esau. Jacob, if you look at the ancient stories, looks more like the mama's boy, hanging around mama, not even quite sure of who he is. And then we get to this place in the story where Jacob tricks his father into receiving the firstborn son's blessing. That's kind of a big deal back then. It's kind of like a spiritual inheritance, if you will. But whatever the case, it sends Esau into a narcissistic fit of rage, and then Esau says and puts it in his heart to kill his brother Jacob over that situation, which is typical of narcissists. They trip out and flip out in narcissistic rages over the smallest of things. And so the first thing we need to understand is that Jacob took this threat very seriously. So did his mom, by the way. And this is where we see Jacob going no contact because he had to. Before I even get into the principles, let's first talk about this. The importance of understanding what you're dealing with when you deal with a narcissist who has already shown you their narcissistic rage. We need to stop pretending that these people are not capable of doing damage. Jacob was well aware of the story of Cain and Abel and what took place then. You and I should also understand these things. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with narcissists in your family, in your old group of friends, in your school. If you are in a dangerous, hostile environment with dangerous, hostile narcissists, then take it seriously. Let's stop pretending that we are good enough and kind enough to calm them down. Jacob didn't feel that way. He didn't think that way, right? And so he sets it up to go no contact, which is the most important thing that anybody can do. His mom helped him. Now let's get into the principles. All right. Principle number 1. When Jacob went no contact, the only person that knew where Jacob was going was the mom. His dad Isaac didn't know. His brother Esau definitely didn't know. He just up and left. And part of this principle also is it was a complete no contact. This is the main thing that you need to understand. Listen, back then, there was no social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There was no way for Jacob to look up on his phone and see what his brother was up to, play peekaboo, and look at pictures and images. This is important. How many of you have left toxic situations with narcissists only to look at their pictures on social media? And then you wonder why you can't get them out of your head, why you can't move on from the trauma you've experienced. Well, I'm sure that 99.9% of the battle, and I know this from experience because I wrestled with it too, but a big percentage of that battle is because we don't get away. We stay connected with social media. We read their old messages, their old texts. There's anything we can understand from the first principle is that when you leave. Get away from them, cut them from WhatsApp, cut them from Instagram. You might be saying, well, that's a jerky thing to do, Kevin. Well, big deal. It's your life. And you need to get away from the toxic people so you can heal. If it's important enough for you to heal and grow, then cut them out completely. Even if it's family. Jacob got away from his own brother. Yes, you can go no contact and cut everything, okay? Principle number 1, cut everything. Principle number 2, be ready to be no contact for a long time. What we discover throughout the ancient literature of the Bible is that Jacob was away from his dysfunctional, narcissistic family situation for 20 years at least. Wow. And it's not just Jacob. This is actually a reoccurring theme throughout all the ancient literature of the Bible, by the way. King David, when he had to escape King Saul, whom he served, King David was hiding for 14 plus years in hiding. In the story of Joseph, his brothers threw him in a pit. Joseph was separated them from his narcissistic family and brothers for 17 plus years. Too many of you, myself included, we go no contact for, 3 weeks, a month. And we're like, I guess we can try and connect on social media, or maybe I should call and see how they're doing. You haven't even begun to get away, let alone heal from the trauma by that point. Be okay with being separated for a very long time. All right? It's okay. Real no contact for a real long time. And there's a couple of reasons why it needs to be a long time. And this is principle number 3, by the way. Okay? Couple reasons. Number 1, it takes a long time for the imbalance of power to shift into your favor. Okay? When narcissists are in their place of rage, it can take years for that rage to simmer down. Not only that, but it could take years for you to get over the traumatic experience. So enough time has to go by for that power imbalance to shift. And there's another aspect to this power imbalance. The reason Jacob was away for 20 years was not just to hide, but Jacob was in a place of self-discovery. He built his life and who he is called to be during that time. And that's what I am doing, and this is what you need to do. It took 20 years for him to become wealthy on his own. Jacob worked for a man named Laban. He married a couple of girls, actually, had lots of kids, lots of animals, lots of servants, became wealthy and successful. And this is important, and this is a part of the imbalance of power shifting back into Jacob's favor. Why? Because Jacob got himself within those 20 years into a place where he didn't need anything from Esau. He no longer needed a blessing from somebody else. He received his blessing from the Lord as he worked and built his own life. He wasn't in a place of need anymore. It took 20 years for Jacob to build this life where he wasn't in need. One of the most important things you need to understand about narcissistic abuse is that the abuse happens primarily out of your place of needing something from the narcissist, from your toxic family members. You need their acceptance. You need their money. You need them to validate you. Within 20 years, Jacob squashed all of his needs and became what he's called to be. And only then, after that long period of time, and after he created this wealth himself, was the imbalance of power able to shift. And now, there was no way for his toxic brother to lord anything over him anymore. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below, you can find access to one-on-one coaching sessions with me. We could have a video conference session. We could also have a telephone session. You'll find direct links down below. In addition to that, you'll find access to Royal We Live Chat, which is every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and Royal We Fellowship. This is an all-new in-depth biblical study, and we are in the ancient literature of the Bible right now, where we are applying our understanding of narcissistic abuse and toxicity in the world. We are applying our understanding into the ancient literature of the Bible. It's unlike any other Bible study you've been a part of. You can find more information about that down below in the description box, so head on down there right now. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and share this message with somebody who needs to hear it. If you like this message, by the way, be sure to follow up tomorrow night, because I am going to be adding another video on the principles you need to know before breaking no contact, also out of the ancient literature of the Bible. I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.